So let's pivot a little bit because I want to ask you what do you say to a person who, because the example you gave isn't the best example, to a person who has something, an example that they to themselves will say, this truly doesn't hurt anyone else. No, I mean, okay, but myself. Now, in one specific way, listen, I think that it's important to recognize we believe every life is important. So even if you're just hurting yourself, you're hurting yourself. And that's a person who's being hurt, and that's wrong. Yeah. But how do you like explain it to a person who's like, okay, maybe they're cutting themselves, or committing, or they want to commit suicide, or they're harming themselves in some way, or they're doing something that like they enjoy, even though they know it can be negative, it can be bad for them, they still enjoy, but they say to themselves, and they say to you, this isn't harming anyone else but myself, and I have autonomy over myself, and I should be allowed to do it.
So, if a person would understand, there's a fundamental portion that everybody needs to understand. When it comes to harm, you are 100% never harming yourself alone. Period. Point blank. There is no moment when a child sits and cuts themselves, that pain that they're feeling is never contained to themselves, because it becomes something to someone else. It later becomes something to someone else. So if, say, a young lady is into cutting and her friend starts feeling depressed or whatever, and she says, I started cutting myself. That first individual will most likely not be able to tell that other individual how to stop doing it.
They might not even feel the desire.
They might not have. They just won't have it in them to be able to stop that issue, or to help that individual. So that's a harm. That is a harm that is done. I remember what I consider to be the greatest teacher. He said at one point he said, the most selfish thing that a person could do is not study. So you might be like, well, if I'm not studying, I mean, it's me, And
I agree entirely.
I mean, I've at various points, I've kind of thought along those lines, like, okay, so I mean, if I know the right thing to do, and I do it, okay, I mean, then I just do the right thing. But no, you're always an example to someone else. Always.
It's always about paying it forward.
You can't do anything but to pay it forward. But because we've become so selfish, right, and self-absorbed, we don't ask the questions, and we don't know how to ask the questions, the necessary questions. We don't know how to involve other people in our life in a beneficial and proper way in order to be a benefit. Like, for instance,
listen, guys, we're doing great things here at the Lamplight Productions. And you can be a part of it for the low price of $0 and 0 cents. Because all you got to do is subscribe. Ring the bell. Ding dong. You can't go wrong. Or don't. It's a free country. Do whatever you want. Though I don't know how you can live with yourself.